Hi, everybody. This is Matt Reeves, and this is my cultural immersion presentation. For my actual cultural immersion project, I wanted to get better acquainted with the LGBTQ plus community, and in order to do that, I actually took part in two different events as well as several interviews with acquaintances of mine that are in the LGBTQ plus community. Um, the interviews, I feel like I got quite a bit out of, but the immersion events themselves were also pretty interesting. The first actual event I attended was church at the First Christian Church in Paducah, who, after doing some research, were a LGBTQ friendly non-denominational church that I attended a few Sundays back, and it was quite a bit different from what I'm used to as a pretty traditional Southern Baptist. Attended a Baptist church my entire life. Always learned that the LGBTQ community was they were sinners. They were wrong in their lifestyles, and have never quite felt that that was accurate. And I have always had a pretty open minded approach with the LGBTQ community. I actually work with multiple members of the community that are teenagers in foster care, and that has really built my interest in gaining more knowledge about that community, which is something that I really wanted to work on with this project. Like I said, the first event I attended was with First Christian Church in Paducah, and the first thing I noticed was the overwhelming, friendly, welcoming environment that they posed. I actually went with my best friend. I refer to him as my brother. His name's Corey. He'll come up in this as well. And he is actually a former Church of Christ pastor. So we had a Baptist viewpoint and a Church of Christ viewpoint going into the church meeting, and that led to some pretty good discussion. The best way I could describe it after attending is it was a mixture of more traditional churches such as the Methodist and Catholic churches, from what I've studied. However, with a modern, very accepting twist. The first person that actually did greet myself and my brother was a fella that announced himself as the LGBTQ community partner in the church, and he was very welcoming. And actually, I had spoke with him previous to get some more information on other events. Um, After speaking with him, we spoke to multiple church members that, although they were not sure how Corey and I were related, they didn't think twice about it. They were very welcoming. One key difference in the message that the pastor shared was that there was no judgmental talk, and that's something that I feel like I've gotten used to in the Baptist church is the pastor and condemnation of certain lifestyles. That being said, I didn't get that in the least bit from this church, and I was drawn in by that. After Corey and myself left, we actually talked about how if the teens that myself and him work with in different areas that are LGBTQ were interested in church services, we would be much more comfortable in them attending a service such as that, as opposed to our more traditional churches where they wouldn't feel welcomed and they may feel judged. That was the major difference that I saw between the First Christian Church and the Baptist Church, which I attend. The second event that I attended was a bit more out of my comfort zone. I attended what was described as a drag show bingo brunch. Um, there was a drag performer, there was bingo, and there was bar food. I have to say that it was a lot of fun. There was a very loose atmosphere. We were extremely welcomed in that regard as well. We had fun. We ate terrible bar food, and we played bingo with several members of the LGBTQ community that were extremely welcoming. We were invited back to any future events that they have, and I actually won $35 in the drag bingo games that we played that were really fun. It paid for our lunch. The big experience I got out of all of this is the interviews I did with multiple members of the LGBTQ community. There were multiple interviews with acquaintances of mine that I've known for years that some have had some pretty significant negative experiences with family members with their connections to the church. And I, through those interviews, gained a whole new perspective on what hardships they've went through in their lives, in their adult lives. Many of them have found partners that they're happy with and that they're doing big things with. One in particular sticks out to me is a girl that I graduated high school with. She was married to a Baptist preacher, and eventually they separated, and she is now married to a another lady. And she shared with me, they were very open, that they had felt ostracized from the church, that if she ever tried to attend, she was just given awful glares. And that really hit home, because I remember how openly religious and how dedicated she was in the church, and that really hit home for me. And just so happens another couple that I interviewed, um, two gay fellas that I've known for a long time that are now married, are actually starting a church in Paducah, in Southside Paducah, called The Place. It is open on Facebook currently. They'll be beginning services in December, but I connected them with my friends from high school so that they could potentially be part of a open, safe, accepting church family. And I think that'll be a really good connection for them if they choose to take it. I know that they are in touch, and I'm hopeful that something positive comes out of that connection where they can have that sense of belonging with the church, an accepting and open matter, in an open way. Um, I will wrap up with this. This has been a very eye-opening experience. I've enjoyed the Immersion project quite a bit. Um, I've seen several of y'all's videos, and I have to say y'all did a lot better than maybe I've done presenting this. I'm glad this isn't communications course. But if y'all have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Um, Thank you for watching. Bye bye.